On tonight's CTV News, Cantabrians face many more years of stress, according to the experts. A local lady is celebrating her 101st birthday, and a lack of demolitions in the central city is frustrating property developers. This is CTV News, I'm Grant Mangan. While the initial shock of the earthquakes is over, a SERA draft document says there may be ongoing stress. Experts say stress may continue for years due to man-made factors as the region battles insurance claims and red tape.
An article in The Star outlines the main causes of quake stress and the fallout of the earthquakes will be insurance hassles, land issues, changes to schooling and ongoing struggles in rebuilding homes and businesses. Experts call these man-made or secondary stresses, which linger long after the impacts of the initial disaster. The report draws on international research which timeframes psychosocial recovery as a 5 to 10 year process, with mental health and relationship issues emerging in the third year. Relationships Aotearoa says it's unfamiliar bureaucratic systems which cause the majority of stress. The school systems, the mergers, the EQC, the insurance companies, any enormous systems with which people have not dealt before. The draft psychosocial plan predicts secondary stresses will make it hard for the region to get back to normal and may affect mental health. Massey University's Saab Joel says secondary stresses can be worse than the initial disaster as they chip away over time. The effect is like a dripping tap. For a day or two it makes no difference, but over time will wear a person down. The Canterbury District Health Board says it's important to enjoy life and people can't wait till their house is built to laugh with their children.
The senior policeman who led the city through the February 2011 earthquake could be the country's next police commissioner. Assistant Commissioner Dave Cliff served as District Commander in Christchurch when the quake hit.
A Star article points to the three candidates in the running to replace retiring Police Commissioner Peter Marshall. Assistant Commissioner Dave Cliff is up against Deputy Commissioners Viv Rickard and Mike Bush. In the 2012-2013 year, the Commissioner was paid between $640,000 and $649,999 for overseeing 12,000 staff. The article cited Deputy Commissioner Mike Bush as being the most likely candidate for the job. One officer spoke of Mr Bush as a polished, natural leader with the X factor. The position of Police Commissioner combines two roles, Chief Constable and Chief Executive. The Chief Constable heads the police force and takes responsibility for all policing and cases, along with assets and a budget of more than $1 billion. The State Services Commission runs the application process on behalf of the Prime Minister and the Police Minister. Police spokesman Ross Henderson wouldn't say when the current Commissioner's tenure will end.
The community is up in arms over the fate of one of the few remaining heritage-listed buildings in the city after a property developer applied to SERA for a demolition notice.
Local engineers have assessed the public trust building and it's repairable. Christchurch businessman Ben Goff's company applied to SERA for a notice to demolish the building, and SERA is saying a decision is imminent. New Zealand's Historic Places Trust is saying the building should be saved and are sickened by the prospect of demolition. With over 160 comments on the press's website, the demand for SERA to reject the application is gaining momentum. Earthquake strengthening was carried out in the Public Trust Office building in 2009, which included new shear walls to the full height of the building, grout injection solution down to 20 metres, and re-levelling of the heritage site. The President of Historic Places, Aotearoa, has asked SERA to refuse the application, and the public seems to agree. As of December of 2013, almost 50% of Christchurch's heritage-listed buildings have been reduced to rubble.
With a look at the week's business news, here's Warren Head.
I'm Warren Head from headliner.co.nz. In the last few days, one of the big events I've been to was the Canterbury Employers Chamber of Commerce annual luncheon for the Governor of the Reserve Bank. A long speech, but very interesting if you like that sort of thing. What did I take away from it? One big thing, that the Governor of the Reserve Bank is not out there to kill off their recovery by advancing interest rates too soon. He did actually say that he had no intention of crunching the economy. So I thought that was quite good news. And he made the point that if he puts up interest rates in terms of what the banks pay, it'll take about a year to 18 months before it takes full effect. So we're going to see a gradual rise in interest rates. And alongside that, things are moving up, but they're moving at a nice measured pace. Today, the employment numbers came out for the December quarter. They showed an increase of 1.1% in the employment levels, up a little bit from the previous quarter, but that's nice and smooth. And again, Canterbury was right at the forefront of that. And in fact, construction jobs employment, I can tell you, is up 22% over the last year. So that's where a lot of the oomph is coming from in terms of our economy. I saw that Jim Bolt, the past CEO of the airport company, was joining Hawkins, one of the companies involved with the Christchurch rebuild. Jim, I've known for many number of years now, did a wonderful job at the airport, and he was there during the construction phase of the terminal. The terminal was in fact built by Hawkins, so he knows that company pretty well, and they built it on time and within budget. That's going to be really important downtown as those big projects come along in future years. And one of the things the Governor of the Reserve Bank said was we haven't peaked yet. He thinks that the rebuild won't really peak until 2017, so a little way off yet. Jim Bolt was involved with Shotover Jet in the early days. He then went on to become a Director of Tourism New Zealand. He was also involved with Bay Corp, the debt management information business, did a great job there. I regard him as a really hard-nosed negotiator. I think he wouldn't mind me saying that. And I think he'll be leading Hawkins ahead in this respect. Hawkins, of course, is owned by a bigger business, McConnell Dowell, one of our country's very best engineering practices. I say that because there's a lot of strength inside the ownership of that company. I noted too that Roger Shepherd, who's the CEO of Mercer's, the stainless steel company in town, had exercised his right to buy some options in the company. He spent $1 million of his own money to do this. It's a vote of confidence in Mercer's going forward. That's an old business in a transition role. It shows you how a lot of Christchurch companies that may think they don't have a future, if they look hard and deep, I think their board might find something else in there to do. What they're doing with stainless steel is very exciting. They're now looking at the hospitals market in the Northern Hemisphere and North America in particular. And you'll see a new rounded seat coming out for residences. If you're out there looking to rebuild or buy a new home, take a look for that nice curved model that Mercer's are doing. Very exciting stuff. So that company is in his hands going forward. And I guess I could probably note that if you're in the bigger business of worrying about energy, this is a period that's quite interesting relative to last year. Wholesale power prices have been skyrocketing over the last week, settled down a little bit in the last 24 hours. The reason for this is a couple of the big North Island gas-fired stations are on hold because the big offshore Maui gas field is going through a month-long maintenance program. In that context, it just shows how gas is taking over from coal in terms of firing up our power stations. The good news is the hydro lakes, if you're out and about through this extended holiday week, which will be for many of you, I think, take a look at the lakes. They're actually high. They're about 110% of average capacity, and that's standing us in good stead to keep those wholesale rates under control going forward. I'm Warren Head for headliner.co.nz.
Coming up, we help a local lady celebrate a very special birthday.
G'day, this is Fletch, your presenter of the TV show Classic Restos. It's the show where it's your chance to see completed restorations being shown, driven and enjoyed.
At Lamb & Haywood, we're committed to providing you with the very best environment at your time of greatest need. You can choose from the best facilities in Canterbury, our recently refurbished West Park Chapel, the Kerrs Road Chapel in Eastern Christchurch, or perhaps Waimana Chapel in Rangiora. However you remember, commemorate or celebrate the life of your loved one, whether it's an intimate group or a grand send-off, the choice is yours. Lamb & Haywood, a tradition of caring.
Don't worry, I've got my vest. I'll just slip this on.
Just 20 minutes drive from Christchurch and nestled in the tranquil surroundings of Littleton Harbour is Canterbury's best kept treasure, Living Springs. The perfect setting for large or small conference groups, team building and development, weddings and special events. With accommodation and catering options available, our facilities and recreational activities are ideal for any occasion. Enjoy the breathtaking scenery and leave feeling revitalised.
Missed a show or want to watch it again? CTV is fitting in with your lifestyle. Be in control with CTV On Demand. Check out our website and follow the links, ctv.co.nz.
Love music, love summer? Then Ingham Lazy Sundays in the Botanic Gardens Archery Lawn is the place to be. Every Sunday from 3 p.m. through January to February, and it's all free. So make Sunday your day to soak up summer and take time to recharge with family and friends, relaxing in the beautiful Botanic Gardens. Listen to some great music and enjoy some of the many surrounding attractions. The perfect way to unwind. Ingham Lazy Sundays, putting summer into Sundays.
Kickoff is pure Bundesliga soccer, the real thing, featuring all the games, all the goals, every week. Kickoff, Sunday 12 noon, right here on CTV.
A special Cantabrian has just enjoyed a very special day. A surprise morning tea was put on to celebrate a 101st birthday.
In 1905, the New Zealand rugby team becomes known as the All Blacks. In 1914, Duke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, sparking the First World War. But a year earlier, in 1913, a family in the small town of Fairlie welcomed into the world their first child. Dorothy Wilson is the oldest of 4 children. A keen swimmer, she's won awards for swimming 1 mile in the Fairlie pool. Today, she celebrates her 101st birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Lord. Happy birthday to you. Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
Mrs. Wilson only relies on a walker to get around, and while she reflects over the past 101 years, the memories of her life haven't faded with time.
It's amazing. I just can't believe it. And as the doctor said in the hospital, they can't believe I can be so active at my age and be so clear-minded. So I'm lucky.
She's lived through the Great Depression in her teenage years, witnessed the reign of 3 monarchs, and she's worked with her father in one of the oldest karting businesses in New Zealand.
My dad, I always told him, I'd even told my husband, that no man could ever be as good as what my dad was. I was Dad's girl, and he was absolutely an idol as far as I was concerned.
Mrs. Wilson lived at home with award-winning gardens, but at 92 years old, she made the move into rest home care.
I've got all these mates here, we play bowls and looked going on here, and I'm very happy here.
But for all those wondering, her secret of a long and happy life is simple.
Eating, no alcohol, and no smoking. And being happy church life. Living a good life.
From all of the team here at CTV, happy 101st birthday, Dorothy. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Well, Emma Cropper also headed down to New Brighton Beach to see how her Sandcastle skills fared compared to the professionals ahead of the Sandcastle competition tomorrow.
3 years of sculpting sand. New Brighton Beach is going to be packed with locals, trying their hand at creating a masterpiece. I heard there were some experts in town, so I thought it would be rude not to go down and lend a hand. Well, it looks pretty good to me. but they do put a lot more effort into their designs than what I did.
This is our second day of carving right now, and hopefully we'll have it done by tonight. This is a New Zealand themed sand sculpture, and it's for the competition that's going to be out here this weekend. So that's tomorrow, right? Yeah, it's a competition out here tomorrow.
And do you travel all around the world making these sand sculptures?
Yes, I do actually. It's my profession. I'm going to Peru after this, then to Germany, and then to Taiwan. I just travel around making sandcastles, yeah.
While mine may not have been up to standard, crowds of people will be creating lots of different designs to try and take out the top prize tomorrow. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
High-profile businessman Anthony Goff is questioning why, after nearly 3 years, the central city is still littered with earthquake-damaged buildings. CTV News asked Sarah and the Minister's office for comment, but we've yet to hear back. In the meantime, Goff took reporter Marcus Gibbs on a tour of the buildings.
This is Christchurch's central city, a year after the rebuild was officially launched. Damaged buildings litter the horizon. Many have already come down, but others are still waiting for the wrecking ball or even a decision on their futures. This Manchester Street site is one of many open and exposed to the elements.
Buildings like this, we need to get them down or repaired, not just abandoned. This is an abandoned building in my books. Let's move on.
Anthony Goff, businessman, property developer. The larger-than-life character is pushing ahead with his plans to build the terrace. The 9-building project will cost $140 million, but he calls it progress for Christchurch, money well spent. But as we walk around the city, Goff sees anything but progress. Down Manchester Street, the grass has been sown for the Blueprint's eastern frame, but the next block is empty of any greenery. Instead, damaged nightclubs sit waiting to be pulled down.
They are in the eastern frame. They should be down by now. They've been up for 3 years. What are we trying to do? Sort of retain some sort of relic of the destruction of the earthquake, or are we just sort of playing around?
Further down the street, this 2-storey blue building is partially collapsed and abandoned. It's also designated to be part of the eastern frame, but again, there's no progress on the site.
So there's several reasons why it needs to come down. And yep, there might be some insurance issues. Well, they could take for the next 20 or 30 years. Those can always be argued in court. Take photographs of the building and just get it down.
Beside it sits a road closed off. It hasn't been used for 3 years.
This is Christchurch's version of Bosnia, little Bosnia here. Here we've got this demolition everywhere, roads blocked, been blocked for 3 years. I don't think they're ever going to open them.
To make these dangerous buildings safer for the public, roads are often partially fenced off and reduced to 1 lane. But in a city with ongoing road changes, these extra closures are too much for Goff.
You can see that the road's a bit like a boa constrictor down here on Manchester Street. It's pushed in from both sides. We've got a little slot through the middle which we drive through. We need to move on. We need to get rid of these buildings that are never going to be repaired.
Goff's desire for a clean slate is somewhat controversial. The remains of the Odeon Theatre still sit on its Churham Street site. It was once the oldest masonry theatre in New Zealand. Kate Shepherd used it as a public meeting venue during her women's suffrage campaign, but Goff says it needs to go.
I know heritage advocates would say we should save everything. Let's get realistic. There is not an endless pot of money. Let's pick the winners and let's go with those. Things like this need to be moved off the site and turn to the grass, whatever.
Anthony's frustrated that he was given just 10 days to demolish 2 of his Oxford Terrace buildings. He was told they had to be down before Restart Mall opened in October 2011. Yet as he looks around, other buildings have had little to no action.
I believe Sarah needs to be applying a bit more pressure on these owners and saying, well, you got insurance issues, that's fine, but we're taking your building down anyway.
But it's not all doom and gloom because there is some progress in this broken city. Sean Stockman is close to finishing his new office block. Lee's Construction has signed on as tenants. Stockman's also spent time and money repairing Vespa, a heritage building. But his hard work is surrounded by inactivity. Across the road, Majestic House is still sitting empty, its future uncertain, along with the opening date of Litchfield Street.
They're not even repairing drains here, so they don't need it closed. They just, apparently that building is there, and you can see cars running around us trying to get around this area. It would be so much better if that road Litchfield Street was open.
Just metres from Anthony's building, the rest of Hereford Street has finally opened up. Cars now travel down roads that until recently have been shut to traffic.
Absolutely fantastic. Gosh, 2 days ago it was all closed. Here we've had Waitangi Day and bingo, it's open. Been closed for 3 years. Wonderful. Let's see a bit more of this in Christchurch.
It's going to make a huge difference to Anthony's building project. Until now, he's been transporting his trucks through a demolition site to get to the terrace. But before he can scream progress from the treetops, these abandoned, once-loved reminders of former Christchurch need to come down. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Our reporter has asked for an on-camera comment from Sarah's Chief Executive Roger Sutton or CCDU Director Warwick Isaacs. We were told both are away and will be unavailable until Monday. The Minister's office referred us to Sarah for further comment. So until then, Anthony's questions will be going unanswered. We do hope to report back after the weekend. Still to come, let's prepare for the weekend with our sports preview, traffic update and regional weather.
Be immersed in the unique cultural highlights Germany has to offer every Tuesday night with Discover Germany. Tuesday at 7 p.m, right here on CTV.
Hey, what's up with you? Oh, I've got birthdays coming up, I've got bills coming out of my ears. I just don't have the money. Well, why don't you just go to the pawn shop?
Yes, the pawn shop has a massive selection of rings, watches, car audio, sports gear, heaps of DVDs, digital cameras, computers and musical instruments. They have just about everything.
Sounds good to me. Let's go.
Everything's as good as gold at the pawn shop. 77 Ferry Road and 396 Blenheim Road.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
Avoid the cowboys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring, moving company.
Meet me there in Edgware. Bailey's Bar have reopened in their new location on the corner of Edgware Road and Colombo Street. We offer a casual dining experience with a range of tasty fare. Try from our all-day breakfast menu or choose from our extensive main menu available from 12 p.m. The perfect place to start your day or evening out. Come and enjoy the great atmosphere at Bailey's Bar.
In Good Shape, examining all aspects of healthcare, medicine, research, nutrition, fitness and beauty, with in-depth interviews from medical experts. It's all here on In Good Shape, Monday afternoon at 2, CTV.
Earlier in the bulletin, we told you about the Sandcastle competition being held at New Brighton Beach tomorrow. Well, Sandcastles are one of the sporting events coming up over the next few days. Here's a preview of the weekend's sporting action.
With the start of their Super Rugby season just 2 weeks away, the Crusaders' pre-season continues this evening when they take on the Highlanders in Motueka. The Highlanders could prove to be more than table dwellers this season after beating the Brumbies 15-11 in Queenstown last Friday. Many of the Crusaders' big names will be in action tonight, with only Richie McCaw and Kieran Reid yet to return to the squad. The Black Caps aren't the only cricketers in action over the weekend, with the Canterbury Wizards' 4-day Plunket Shield match against Auckland, which got underway at Hagley Oval today, continuing. With just 3 rounds in the competition remaining, the Wizards hold a narrow lead in the competition, and a solid victory over the weekend could prove pivotal if they're to make a bid for the competition final. Another Canterbury team nearing the end of their campaign are our footballers, the Canterbury United Dragons. United also have 3 round robin matches remaining in their competition, which currently sees them lying in second spot, 3 points behind leaders Auckland City. The Dragons are away to 5th place team Wellington on Sunday, who lie just 2 competition points behind Canterbury. With only 1 home game remaining and playing 3 teams who are within 2 points of second place in their final 3 matches, United's run to the playoffs is sure to be an exciting one. And finally tonight, the ITU Pegasus Tri-Series event takes place this weekend, with triathletes of all abilities taking place in the sprint size event. The Trophy Super Sprint event will see ITU ranking points on offer, and one local who will be after those is Tom Davison, who recently finished a surprise 3rd at the National Road Racing Championship. Davison will be hoping to be on form again this weekend as he looks to impress selectors ahead of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Finlater for CTV Sport.
If you're driving around the central city, CTV's new traffic update will assist you navigate the repairs taking place.
Hello Christchurch, to help you plan your journey around the central city, here's an update on major roadworks which may cause delays next week, particularly in peak hours. Turn restrictions and lane closures through the southeastern quadrant within the 4 avenues may continue to cause moderate delays. Lane reductions and minor detours in these areas will affect journey times. We suggest northbound road users use Madras Street as an alternative route, while Fitzgerald Ave is an option for those heading south. Manchester Street has some minor roadworks but is open both ways from Bailey Ave to Morehouse. For journeys from one side of the city to the other, we recommend using the 4 avenues where possible to keep you moving. I'll be back with another detailed update for you on Monday during CTV News at 5 o'clock. In the meantime, please visit the Transport for Christchurch website.
And the website does have lots of additional information, including a map which you can highlight and enlarge and do all those sorts of things with. And finally tonight, let's find out whether we'll be spending time outdoors this weekend with your regional weather.
Kia ora and good evening Canterbury. A light northeasterly airflow is developing and will remain through the weekend as well. Taking a look now at the weather for your area. Kaikoura sits on a nice warm 11 overnight, then cloudy and cool tomorrow with a high of 19 and showers at times. You'll also have some easterly winds as well. A cloudy day in Hanma after 11 overnight with some showers during the afternoon and light easterly winds. Your daytime high will still get to 21 degrees. Rangiora and Kaiapoi overcast sets over North Canterbury after 11 overnight with a few afternoon showers and light winds, but a daytime high of 21 degrees. Christchurch sits on 11 overnight, then mostly cloudy with light southwesterly winds in the city. 21 degrees is the high tomorrow with some drizzle patches or light showers that may develop during the afternoon. Plenty of high cloud about for your Saturday in Ashburton after 11 overnight, with a daytime high of 22 and light easterly breezes all day. And Timaru escaping the cloud with a mostly fine day after 11 overnight. Some high cloud later on and light easterly winds, but a daytime high of 22 degrees. In other areas now. All areas sit between 9 and 12 overnight. Then daytime highs tomorrow push between 22 and 24 degrees, everyone having a generally cloudy day. Looking ahead for Canterbury. Cloudy on Sunday with some drizzle or light showers at times and moderate southwesterly winds. They're mostly fine on Monday with some low cloud morning and night with sunny periods by day and moderate to fresh breezy northeasterly winds. That's it from me. Have a great weekend. Stay safe on the roads, and I'll have another update for you on Monday.
And that's CTV News for Friday and the end of the week. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.